committee will come to order. We exist to secure two fundamental principles. First, Americans have a right to know that the money Washington takes from them is well spent. And second, Americans deserve an efficient, effective government that works for them. Our duty on the Oversight and Government Reform Committee is to protect these rights. Our solemn responsibility is to hold government accountable to taxpayers, because taxpayers have a right to know what they get from their government. We work tirelessly in partnership with citizen watchdogs to deliver the facts to the American people and bring genuine reform to the Federal bureaucracy. The mission of the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms is to protect our communities from violent criminals, criminal organizations, and the illegal use and trafficking of firearms. Since the Gun Control Act of 1968, the ATF has been organized as a unique law enforcement agency that Americans could trust to reduce the illegal transfer of guns into the hands of criminals. Today's hearing concerns a breach of that trust that has left countless innocent Mexican citizens and at least one Federal Border Patrol agent dead. In 2009, the ATF began allowing straw purchasers to walk guns into Mexico, believing that this initiative would help them track the use of firearms by higher-ups within the Mexican drug cartels. Guns instead were being seized and allowed to cross the Mexican border without the knowledge of the Mexican government. This effort failed. Over strong objections of the ATF field agents, the program continued, and approximately 2,000 AK-47s and derivatives and some 50 caliber sniper rifles and others, and 10,000 or more rounds of live ammunition went into the arsenals of the Mexican drug lords. Despite these strong objections by field agents, Operation Fast and Furious continued. And not only did it continue, but those at the highest level of ATF showed great interest in the program. A document displayed on the screen now shows that two of the most senior leaders in ATF, Acting Director Kenneth Melson and Acting Deputy Director Billy Hoover, were being briefed weekly on Fast and Furious. The documents show that both Melson and Hoover were keenly interested in the case and updates. A second document shows Deputy Assistant Director for Field Operations, William McMahon, was so excited about Fast and Furious that he received special briefing on the program in Phoenix, scheduled a mere 45 minutes after his plane landed. A third, and perhaps the most disturbing document, indicates that Acting Director Melson was very much in the weeds with Operation Fast and Furious. After a detailed briefing on the program at the ATF Field Division, Acting Director Melson had a plethora of follow-up questions that required additional research to answer. And as documents indicate, Mr. Melson was interested even in receiving the IP address for hidden cameras located inside cooperating gun shops. With this information, Acting Director Melson was able to sit at his desk in Washington and himself watch a live feed of straw buyers entering the gun stores and purchasing dozens of AK-47 variants. Earlier this month, the Mexican government reported that more than 34,000 lives have been lost in the 4.5 years, and scores of others remain missing. Last year, 111 U.S. citizens were killed in Mexico, which has been the most violent year in the drug war's history, according to the U.S. State Department. When Senator Chuck Grassley, who we welcome here today, and I first learned about Operation Fast and Furious earlier this year, we were both shocked that such a brutal and reckless and blatantly reckless program had ever been conceived, authorized, or executed by Federal law enforcement. Candidly, at first, I believed that it had to be, as it was being alleged, an operation that was a few loose cannons and could not have possibly been properly briefed. Last night, Senator Grassley and I released a joint report from the investigation entitled Operation Fast and Furious: Accounts of the ATF Agents. After these accounts, after the many depositions that have been taken, the witnesses that have come forward, the whistleblowers, if you will, it is now clear this was not rogues at a local level, just the opposite. What we find is that people at the local level overwhelmingly objected to this program, but were assured that it was approved at the highest levels. Today we will hear from the family of Agent Terry about how Fast and Furious devastated their lives. And we will hear from ATF agents who saw the risk, opposed the program, and have come forward to tell the American people what happened. The American people have a right to know the facts about Operation Fast and Furious, and Congress has a responsibility to find and reveal those facts. Thus far, more than 30 Democratic House members have joined Senator Grassley and myself in calls for the truth. I hope this will continue to be a bipartisan effort. I believe that in spite of slowness to react by the administration, there has now become a focus on getting the truth out in a more timely fashion, allowing the families to understand how it happened, and hopefully working together with Senator Grassley and this committee to ensure it never happens again. That includes holding those whose judgment was so poor accountable.